What do you feel like is the most important lesson you've learned in life or business? And I think what I'm trying to get at here, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about stuff specific to Payload, stuff specific to, being a founder. I think here it's really like if you could pass on one lesson from your life, what would that lesson be? And this, you could imagine it's a son or a daughter, somebody else.
One lesson that I would pass on to, I guess the way I would think about it is a lesson that I would pass on to my children. I'm going to allude to a question I asked on a panel recently that provided an answer that I think that really resonated with me, which was, do something in life that really matters, that helps change other people's lives. Not something that's just like an incremental like improvement on like some like ad buying algorithm, right? Like try to do something that, because there's just not enough people doing things like that, right? We have spent so much of the last 10, 15 years, arguably one of the greatest bull markets ever, building businesses that, like as Chris Powers from Hadrian would say, right? That if they went away, would have no impact, no real impact on our everyday life. And I think there's so many problems, so many huge problems that are yet to be solved from, within space, of course, but, in energy, in food, right? That like, if we solve them, we would just have, I know this sounds very idealistic, but there's just not enough people. Daniel, we talked about this once in the past where there's this very famous like survey by some like newspaper company. I think it was like Daily Mail or something. That was just like, they surveyed like 2,000 kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the first answer, the number one most popular answer was like influencer, right? And there's nothing wrong with being an influencer, but when you have a vast majority of the population saying or the younger population saying like, oh, like, yeah, influencer, right? I'm not surprised by that at all. That's a real problem, and that's just not good for our society going forward, right? And it's part of the reason why I think it's so important that we continue investing in industries like space and we go to Mars, right? Because one of the biggest things that will come from a Mars mission, which people don't often talk about, is the fact that it's going to inspire people. The number of kids that a Mars mission will inspire, and the STEM graduates and the folks that are going to go into those industries and are going to build and do amazing things, will exponentially pay for the cost of that mission to Mars, right? So for me, just do something that like really matters, right, and helps like change people's lives for the better.